Hello, I'm Glenn Ricart, Chief Technology Officer for US Ignite. US Ignite is a nonprofit that works with smart communities across the United States and across the world. One of our 33 smart communities is Southern Nevada, and we have from Southern Nevada, Henderson, Nevada, here with us today, Alyssa Rodriguez. And we work with partnerships, including a great partnership with Cox Communications. And from Cox Communications, we have with us today Susan Anable. Let me just introduce them a little bit more briefly. Alyssa Rodriguez is Director of IT for the City of Henderson, and she is also the 2021 International President of the Institute of Traffic Engineers. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Susan Anable is the Vice President for Public Affairs for the Southwestern region of Cox Communications, and she is the immediate past chair of the Arizona Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Susan.
Thanks, Glenn.
Hey, Alyssa, tell us a little bit about Henderson and the city itself and its ambitions in the smart city space.
Sure. Well, many people may be familiar with the Las Vegas Valley, and Henderson is in the southeast corner of the Las Vegas Valley. We were incorporated in 1953 and have grown to a population of over 310,000 people during that time. So we've been growing very quickly and continue to do so. We've been interested in the smart city space for quite some time, and we have a smart city strategy that we've published. And I'll just borrow from that text to let you know exactly what we've been trying to do, and that's to wisely integrate technology as we continually improve on the quality of life in our community. Our city's motto is to be America's premier community, and we really believe that smart city infrastructure is a core tenet of that.
So it's really quality. You're not actually trying to save some money so much as you're trying to create quality environment for your citizens and visitors.
Well, I think there's an element of sustainability to anything that's effective in the smart cities realm. So we may not be looking for the initial expenditure that's the least expensive option, but the one that's most efficient and again, most sustainable over the long term.
So Cox Communications, Susan, has been a longtime partner with US Ignite and a partner with communities and families in general. It's really a family and community-oriented business. Tell us a little bit about Cox Communications.
Sure. Thank you, Glenn. And you're exactly right. We have a long history of being a partner to the communities that we do business in. And the company itself has a very long history that most people aren't aware of. We've been a family-owned company, been around for 120 years. And in that time, we've evolved from originally a newspaper business to radio to television to cable, and now really to broadband is kind of our forte solution set. And it really was the video and cable side of the business that got us integrated into the communities we do business in. We have to secure a cable license or a cable franchise from the communities where we've built our network and we serve. And it enabled us to have this amazing opportunity to really get to know the community well, build the network out, work with the city, work with the community. And that long-standing legacy, reputation, and relationship between Cox and the cities we serve really created an opportunity for us to evolve to the next generation of helping our communities by providing smart solutions, helping cities like Henderson and others in our footprint to be able to evolve their service model and meet the needs of their communities and their residents. So it was just a natural partnership and relationship that evolved over time, and then of course enabled us to connect with US Ignite a number of years ago to deepen that partnership and to really get strategic about some of the solutions with the cities.
Well, we really appreciate it. Thank you very much for that. So Alyssa, you have a very an area that is going to be a really smart district for you, the Water District. Tell us a little bit about Water Street District.
Sure. So you can see one of the signs in my background here is the Water Street District, and the large building that's shown there is actually our City Hall building. So Water Street is the street that fronts City Hall. It's also shortly going to be the street that accesses the headquarters for the Henderson Silver Knights, our AHL hockey team. So we're super excited about that.
Go Knights!
Yes. It represents the downtown for the city of Henderson and an area we've long been focused on for redevelopment purposes. And we have a lot of exciting businesses that are on Water Street and new ones that are coming up in the near future. And so when we talk about innovative things and improvements to our community, Water Street was an area we decided to focus on. And so in our partnership with Cox, we are working on our Water Street Innovation District, and we have a lot of exciting things that are happening down there right now.
Oh, tell us a little bit about them. We can't wait.
Sure. So let's see where to start. I think our first implementation just this month was our smart streetlights. We have 2 circuits of smart streetlights that have gone in, one into a residential area and one into kind of our casino corridor. The one within the casino corridor is actually a decorative light fixture. And so if you go down there, you can't quite tell that there's something brand new, but it does a lot of great stuff. Probably the first thing we're most excited about is that it will tell the technicians when it's burned out. So right now we have to rely on our residents to tell us when a streetlight is burned out. This system sends us a message right away and we get out there a lot faster. We're also installing some smart water meters, which will allow real-time reporting for residents in case they have something like a leak or some other issue with their water system. And we're testing 2 communications methods with that, so that's a great opportunity there. And then with all the exciting new things that are happening in downtown Water Street, with our new events and our new hockey facility, we've been concerned about 2 things. First of all is parking, because we think it's going to start to be a premium down in that area. And so we're looking at new parking solutions that will tell us where there are available spaces and then share that with our residents. And we're also doing some things around crowd counting, because we want to make sure when we have events downtown, they're tailored to the needs of our community. So with the crowd counting capabilities, we can say, okay, this event was particularly successful and most of the attendees were centered around, say, the food court. And so we can identify that and continually improve on our events in the future.
That sounds terrific. So those are all things, Susan, that I bet a lot of people didn't know that Cox worked on, and Cox did. How is Cox organized, and how are these magical things happening through this partnership?
Well, I would say it was built on a framework where we've built this GigaBlast enabled network. For those of you who might be in Cox service areas, you know that's our gig enabled service. That has really positioned us to have a network in these communities where we could provide some advanced applications and solutions to the city. So in the last 2 to 3 years, we've established a group in our organization called Cox 2M, and they are really kind of a brain trust of our most innovative thinkers and some people that we've brought into the organization that are on the bleeding edge of smart city technologies. And so we might partner with other vendors for solutions, or we might find our own solutions like we did with our asset management solution for our automotive business, where we needed to be able to track cars going through an auto auction and know where they're at and where they're at in a washing or a restoration process. And so we developed those kinds of technologies to meet our own needs, but then realized, geez, you know, we could take this same technology and help a utility or help a city like Henderson be able to track their own vehicles and trucks in their network, or be able to enable smart lighting solutions or water management solutions. So really it's been kind of a new thing for us in the last 2 to 3 years, but it was built on a really good framework of where we had the network, we have the gig-enabled technology solutions kind of already built in, and then it's just a matter of finding partners like the cities to match up our abilities and their needs.
You know, at US Ignite, we tell everybody that a smart community is built on a smart networking foundation, that you really need that, because a smart community is going to have lots of sensors. It's going to have things that are going to communicate information to its citizens and its visitors. It's going to be able to understand what's going on, and all of that needs communications underneath. And so having a partner that has a in-depth communications infrastructure like GigaBlast is something that just sets up a city to be able to be successful in that way. And I think that's one of the reasons that the partnership is working so well with Henderson. And you talked about a lot of things that go in right on top of that, but I think sometimes we can forget about that underlying layer that really makes things successful.
That's right, Glenn. I think it really enables us to, like I said, we can sometimes provide a solution or partner with the city to give them a Cox-enabled service, or we can bring other partners to the table and really collaborate and come up with solutions that might benefit beyond just the city of Henderson, maybe all of Clark County, for example, where there are needs to maybe have, synchronized traffic lights or lighting management systems or water management systems that may cross jurisdictional boundaries. So again, cable company like Cox, uniquely positioned, we've already got fiber and assets in the network that enable us to provide multi-jurisdictional solutions if there's willing communities to partner together.
That's great. So Alyssa, Deb March, who's the mayor there, came to one of the US Ignite events that we had, and I got the chance to meet her, and I thought she was a terrific leader. Can you tell us a little bit about how the smart community efforts are organized within the city of Henderson? And I assume that you've got a partnership going there as well between the different departments to make this successful.
Absolutely, and Mayor March has just been great. She's been exceptionally supportive of all of our smart city efforts. And it's definitely one of the areas that she's asked the city to focus on. And so with the leadership from the city manager's office, and of course from our Department of Information Technology, we've partnered with other departments within the city to work on a smart city strategy. And it really comes from advice that Mayor March asked us to really live by, and that is plan your work and then work the plan. And so if you look at any of our documentation for our smart city, you'll see a strong linkage between our long-range comprehensive plan and the goals that are contained therein, and also our 5-year strategic plan for the city and the specific tasks that we're working on over the next 5 years. And so within that, we're working on improvements for the utilities department, for public works, for our parks and recreation departments, for safety solutions for our police and fire department. And so we're really reaching across the aisle and working collaboratively to make sure that our solutions not only benefit departments within the city and make our city operations more efficient, but also improve the lives of our residents.
I think that couldn't be stated better. Are those plans available for people to look at? Is that available publicly? Can we find those on the City of Henderson website?
Most certainly. So if you're interested in our smart city strategy, it's cityofhenderson.com/smart city. And if you search for Water Street Innovation District on that same website, you'll also come up with the details of our plan for the Water Street Innovation District.
What's been the reaction in the Water Street District so far?
So far, it's been very good. We've been sharing this information with the businesses, and they're really interested in getting information as far as what their customer base is. And they're, of course, always interested in the parking situation because that is critical to a successful business. And so any assistance we can provide in that area is also helpful. And then I think that they like the idea that they're the first to get some of these neat technologies like the streetlights and the water meters. That they're the first ones to get to try out these new advancements. So it's been very positive.
I think one of the things that's been very helpful in the Southern Nevada area is that Cox has not only partnered with Henderson, but greater Las Vegas area and Clark County. And so having that kind of communications infrastructure that runs across multiple jurisdictions, I think in some ways multiplies the value of having somebody like Cox involved as a partner. Do you agree with that, Susan?
Yeah, I do. And I can't underscore something Alyssa shared earlier about the City of Henderson's commitment and strategic plan around this. There are a lot of cities and communities out there that would love to be smart and love to have some of these technologies and solutions that make them more efficient, improve quality of life, make their streets safer for their residents. But Henderson really put pen to paper and made a plan, and they're sticking with it. And that's hard. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of other needs that the community has. But I think, as she mentioned, when you can demonstrate to your downtown districts and communities and the business community the value of having traffic management, having parking solutions, having a safe environment, that only can breed more economic development. So I think, the City of Henderson needs to be applauded for its recognition on what it means, not only the quality of life of their residents, but to the economic development opportunities. And so I think, when you've got that kind of a petri dish to create and try things, and it's a value to Cox as well. We benefit from these projects that Alyssa mentioned attention because we can now collect the data and say, yes, this actually is effective by reducing energy consumption for these lighting solutions that are going to save the city money, provide, a more efficient model for their folks to be able to service their network. So all of that being said, it gives the opportunity to then grow those solutions and partner up with other adjacent communities who see what Henderson's doing, and they are the first in many respects to be testing these out, some of these solutions. And it just means, you see a good thing happening here and great results. How can we scale that and bring that that solution to a broader community like Clark County?
That's great. So how does it feel, Alyssa, to go first? Do you feel like a guinea pig? Are you proud of that? Tell us how it feels.
I would say we're proud of it. We're pretty excited about the opportunity, and I think one of the key things with innovation is the opportunity to iterate. And I really appreciate the team that Cox has put together on this, because they really allow us to do that. Some of these things aren't going to be successful, and some of them are going to change over time, and we have to adjust and be flexible. And really, the team has been great about that. When we started this whole journey together, we didn't know there was going to be a hockey arena on Water Street. And right now, everything's under construction, and so we've had to adjust. But everybody's been willing to jump in and figure out how to make the best of things and how to make them work. And I think there's going to be some great things that come out of this. And to Susan's point about starting these and then being able to roll them out at greater scale, one of the great things about working in this valley is that at some point in our history, our forebears had realized that it's important to standardize infrastructure. And so, for instance, if we determine that this street lighting solution is extremely effective and it does everything that we need it to be, all across the Las Vegas Valley, the same streetlights are in place with the same type of infrastructure, foundation, fixtures, etc. In addition, many, many places in the valley have that Cox infrastructure based into there. So the opportunity to roll these things out at scale is huge in this community, and all we have to do is demonstrate that it's working here in Henderson. And so we're super excited to be first and really to demonstrate some great things to come.
So I think that you've made some very good points about having a plan. You know where you're going, you know what your strategic goals are, and yet being flexible about that plan, to be able to alter it and you end up with a hockey arena within your innovation district that you didn't know was going to be there, and to be able to plan for that. So a lot of communities have difficulty thinking about how to make plans and keep them flexible. What advice would you have for those folks?
I think you want to keep the desires of your residents in mind. So we frequently reach out to our residents and ask them what's important to them. And what we hear is, number one, they want a safe community. And so any sort of improvements that we roll out, we want to make sure that there's a component of that it's improving safety for the residents. We hear that they want an efficient transportation system. And so several of the improvements that we're making in the Water Street district and elsewhere involve the transportation system and making that more efficient, and also offering more options for transportation. We also hear that our residents are interested in education. And so we've looked at opportunities to improve the education system within the city of Henderson, and to improve things like technical education, STEM opportunities, small business opportunities, those sorts of things within the district and within Henderson. And so even though your specific tasks or strategies may change a little bit, you still keep those end game type responses in mind so that you are meeting the needs of your residents.
I bet it's also, you can tell me if I'm right about this, but I'm guessing it's pretty energizing to your staff to be able to work on the leading edge with some of the leading products from a leading provider like Cox.
Definitely. It's exciting to work on these new things and to kind of go where the department hasn't gone before, and to try out new things, and to work with partners like Cox to identify the best solution for the job that we're trying to achieve. And so they've really been energized by that, and we've gotten lots of people involved in it, and it's really been a fun project for everybody involved. And not just IT. I think we're seeing a lot of excitement from Public Works and from utilities, because they have the chance to try out something new and different, at a small scale, and then then see how they might be able to deploy it at scale within their own departments.
That's right. And tell us about what your thinking is about going to scale with some of these things. I assume that Water Street District is your incubator to try things out, but have you taken things beyond Water Street yet?
Not yet, but we are definitely looking for that in the future. And so one of the great things about this is we've thought about smart streetlights for quite a long time. But what we didn't know was really how much energy do they save? How effective are they at notifying us when there is an outage or some other issue? And we get to try out a number of different vendors here, and we'll have concrete data to base our future judgments on. So in the past, we've used things like a energy savings bonding tool in order to roll out infrastructure. And those are based on calculations of how much energy you're going to save. But in the past, it was an estimation. This time, we'll be able to actually use concrete data. The same is true for the water meter. So we've tried some of those solutions in the past, but had issues with communications and battery life. And in this opportunity, we're going to try them out, make sure that the communication system is solid, and then we will be able to tell if it's something that we can roll out at scale.
Data-driven decision-making, you can't beat it.
Yes.
Susan, you must have an equally number of excited employees being able to work on some of these advanced projects. Tell us a little bit about Cox2M.
Yeah. No, as I mentioned earlier, it's a part of our organization that really has evolved and been created just in the last couple of years. And we've really grown the team, trying to find talent and people in the industry that really understand how to build platforms and utilize existing technology that's out there that either we can provision or we can get from partner vendors. And so it's enabled us to grow our team, to try to be more proactive, reaching out to communities and getting in front of them and saying, hey, what are your needs? How can we help you? You may not realize that the cable company and broadband company in your community has some capabilities in this space. And as Alyssa mentioned earlier, and really key to Henderson's success is picking those things that they really prioritize as the most important and not trying to solve for every problem and come up with a solution for every community challenge that they have. And it's hard sometimes. You're dealing with people who are elected to office. They feel accountable. They want to do things to serve the community, but to be that focused on solutions is really, key to to getting the data and being able to scale projects for the future. I did want to share, Glenn, one of the things that's evolved from our Cox2M model, and it's very exciting. It's actually happening in our Arizona market, is a recent partnership with Arizona State University. And just as an example of sort of how that the Cox2M model has fueled the collaborative ideation and innovation part of what we're doing, we've got a collaboratory, which is an existing environment at the ASU campus in Tempe and the other ASU campuses around Metro Phoenix, where we bring the students from ASU, faculty, and some of the really great minds from the IT department at ASU together to innovate solutions. So again, I mentioned that sort of as an evolution of now we've started in this space, we're finding like-minded partners out there that are looking to solve community's greatest problems and giving us an opportunity to work in an environment together to come up with solutions. So taking the best of our local cities, the best thinking at our universities, and then partnering them up with internet broadband provider like Cox. We're really excited about what these collaboratory type models are going to help us evolve to the next generation of smart city solutions and be able to take communities like Henderson, even farther down their path towards their vision.
I couldn't agree with you more. And we also do work with Phoenix and Arizona State University. And I was privileged to be part of, they don't do Burning Man down there. They have Learning Man this summer. So I went to the ASU Learning Man summer camp. I want you to know, and Cox was well represented there. So you guys were, and I found out a lot about the collaboratory because I got to take a virtual tour, thanks to Bella, into the laboratory that you guys are doing there. And that is just another amazing project that we need to do another half-hour session on just by itself. It's really that good. But I can see where you're hatching some of the ideas that you're now implementing in Henderson and other communities across the country. It's really a very interesting, interconnected way in which Cox has been able to work with a number of customers and then bring the best from one customer to another customer to another customer. And your community-friendly attitude is just great for smart communities. And so all of us who are working with you want to thank you for taking that kind of approach to make that happen. And I bet Alyssa is also pretty happy about the relationship, right, Alyssa?
We have been very happy. It's been great. We spent a lot of time at the outset of our partnership establishing our guiding principles. And that was a really useful activity for figuring out, what does the city of Henderson want to get out of this relationship? What does Cox want to get out of this relationship? What are our ultimate goals in this? And making sure that we're all on the same page. And then when we went to the contracting process, all we had to do was include those in there and say that this is how we're going to work. And we've really had the opportunity to live by those. And it really has been what they're called, the guiding principles that have really outlined our relationship. And Cox has, as Susan mentioned, they went out and found the best and the brightest. And so we've had the benefit of sort of almost having an extension of our staff to help with project management and to help us identify the best in breed for technology solutions. So overall, it's just been a really beneficial process for us, and not something we could have necessarily achieved on our own. So it's really been great for the city of Henderson.
So what advice, Alyssa, would you have for other communities that like to really up their smart community game? I mean, you're clearly one of the folks that people are looking up to, and share some of your secrets.
Well, I think we've said it a few times so far already, but I would say start with a plan. Determine what you want to achieve as part of your smart cities goals and determine how that is helpful to your residents. Think about how technology could really make the lives of your residents better, safer, more efficient, how you could make services more efficient for your community and within the government services. And then I think it's helpful to start looking for a partner that is willing to help you achieve those goals that you establish. And again, it helps to stay flexible. It helps to start thinking about what's happening currently within your community so that your solutions are still applicable. And then just be willing to iterate, because you're going to have to try some different things as you go along, and some things will work and some things won't. But that's just kind of the way that smart cities goes.
I agree with you. That is the way that smart cities go. And I think that you have to be willing to experiment, really rejoice in the things that work, and then spread them around, and be nimble, agile, I guess is the phrase in IT, to be able to get to the better solutions when you need the better solutions. And I'm going to, I promise that next time I visit my best friend in Henderson, I'm going to go to the hockey arena when it's complete and go take in a Golden Knights game. I remember that pretty well there. And I like that a lot. And Susan, in working with Cox, how can people get in touch with Cox to be able to go and share some of these things with their own communities? What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, I mentioned our Cox 2M, that's Cox, the number 2M organization, which is really the heartbeat of our smart community service model. And you can find us on the internet. We are largely partnering with communities that are within our service area where we have network, but we're happy to talk to any communities that are interested in smart solutions. We can help provision solutions that go beyond our service area boundaries as well. So we're excited with challenges and opportunities, and I'm happy to talk to any community about what things they want to do to make life better for their residents and to improve life in their community.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you both. I think this has been really very interesting. I'm jealous of Henderson, and very, very happy that we're also partners with Cox. And I will come and visit the Golden Knights when they're there, Alyssa, and Lockwater District with you, and you can show me the latest version of the plan when I'm there, okay?
That would be great.
All right. Thanks very much, and that concludes this session.